Welcome to another episode of Casual Cinephilia, where enthusiastic amateurs talk very passionately about movies. I'm Ian.
I'm Lorian, and today we are talking about Doolittle.
Which I'm just going to open up, and I want to say that it was very brave of Robert Downey Jr. to choose the accent that he chose, and he was consistent from beginning to end with it. It was a very brave choice, and he stuck with it. Good on him.
I would just like to start by saying this wasn't a good movie, and we will be spoiling it.
Well, it wasn't a bad movie either. It was just hardcore mediocre.
Here's my thoughts.
Okay.
Doolittle was two pretty good movies smashed forcibly into one mediocre movie.
Yes.
It was both an absurd little boy poop humor movie, which was pretty good, and a really heartfelt playing on the nostalgia of Doolittle, like, sweet movie that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they decided not to blend these things. They just sort of smashed them at each other and let them fight.
Yeah. Yeah. And
thought they would both land in their respective zones.
I think fight is the perfect descriptor of it, because the tones of this movie don't flow well at all.
For example, big time spoiler, at the end, he goes from, I understand the pain of losing a loved one. I, too, have lost a loved one. I think I better shove my hand up your ass now and pull out all this armor. And then he does that, pulls out bagpipes from this dragon's ass, gets farted all up on, and then immediately goes into the next scene.
Before you continue, literal bagpipes.
Literal bagpipes. I was not being creative, just parroting things that happened. Then the very next scene, less than 5 minutes later, they're in the Eden Tree room, and he's significantly laying his wife's wedding ring down and having a nice, like, moment.
Somber moment.
And they thought that would land less than 5 minutes after him pulling bagpipes out of a dragon's asshole.
Yeah. Which, by the way,
both of the moments could land well in a movie like this.
Yeah, very much
not
so.
that close together.
So, one thing, though, that I will compliment this movie on is they allowed for continued jokes, running jokes, to have payoffs.
Yes.
Like the scalpel and the forceps
being a leak. And then the leak
of course,
behaves as forceps at the end.
Which I appreciated. And the Kevin logs from the red squirrel throughout it.
Sure.
Like, I thought those were great. They also didn't feel like they fit at all with the movie.
Right. They were... Most of the animals belonged to the sentimental version of the film. Right. They were very classic Doolittle. The things they did were sweet. They were even making, like, by-the-books therapeutic process.
Yeah.
And then the squirrel was from the little boy humor one. But he was just overlaid with the rest of the animals with absolutely no work done to blend the two.
Yeah.
There was a lot of that happening in this movie. That said, I did really love the design. The costumes and the settings and all of that were really, really nice.
No, the world that was created in this, I loved the pirate cove of Cape Verde or whatever that was.
Really fun.
It was great. And Antonio Banderas apparently is in it.
I'm curious if someone could take the audio out and rewrite a script, like fan edit style, like sync it on the internet and make this a better movie. Because the problem was clearly the writing.
Yeah.
And not even necessarily the settings or the plot.
Yeah.
But the fact that none of the writing... It literally felt like they had two scripts and they, like, shuffled every other page.
Yeah. Definitely.
So I feel like it's possible someone could just fix that, overlay it over the really pretty film work like they did.
Yeah.
It was actually... it was a kid's movie, so there wasn't any, like, incredible artistry in the cinematography or anything.
No.
But there was fun to look at stuff. There was a cohesive look to everything.
Yeah, and everything was realistic, with just a tinge of fantasy.
Yeah.
Like a sailboat that has a whale harness.
Right.
And even the battleship that is chasing them just has that slight steampunk
It's just a
feel.
little exaggerated.
Yeah, it was just everything was just slightly off. And it just gave it this whimsical feel. The world was great.
Yeah.
I loved the world.
It was fun.
Can you clarify something with me?
Sure, I can try.
Was the little girl the queen's daughter?
I guess so. She said, let's just say I'm Lady Rose. And then they never... It felt... Because there was a reference to a child queen at one point, so it felt like she must have been, but I don't think it was ever, like, straightforward clarified.
No, yeah.
So,
Oh, and just the thing that blew my mind was how many people were in this movie.
So many people.
And, like, it wasn't until the end. I'll admit, like, I'm usually pretty good with voices.
Sure.
Like, the instant the polar bear talked, I was like, is that fucking John Cena? Turns out it was.
Yes.
And, of course, Kumail Nanjiani.
Yeah, Kumail Nanjiani's the best.
You can instantly know who he is.
He's easily the best part of this
Oh,
movie, by the
easily.
way.
I love him. He's fantastic in this movie. But it took to the credits to realize that the dog was Tom Holland.
Yeah.
That did not
I knew he
click
was
with
going to
me.
be in this, but I had no idea who he was. And same thing.
Yeah.
Went to credits, I was like, oh.
It did not click with me who that was Tom Holland. And the fox,
Yeah.
which, how ironic that she's a fox, was Marion Cotillard.
Yeah, yeah.
And who was the giraffe?
Sama, no.
Wasn't Salma Hayek.
It was Selena Gomez.
Selena Gomez, that's who it was.
An S?
Yeah, it's just, there's so many, like, I'd hear a voice and I was like,
What?
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
Who are you?
It's like, I felt like a half awake dog hearing, like, footsteps. I was like, who is that? Like, it just, and there was characters that just weren't introduced.
Right.
Like, who was the pirate monkey? Do you remember that? He's in it for like 6 seconds. They're like, Doolittle's like, I'm just going to stay here and open my own private practice because I'm giving up on this thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, the monkey's like,
Yeah,
hey, I'm
it's
a
like
monkey.
an orangutan covered in
It
jewelry.
looked like Johnny Depp as Jack Sparrow.
Was it?
But, like, I mean, I don't know. Like, I just don't know.
Yeah.
But it just, there was so many. Oh, and Rami Malek.
Yeah.
Rami Malek was in it as
Yeah.
Chi-Chi, the gorilla. That I didn't get until the
No,
freaking
me
credits. Like, there was just so many people. Ugh. And yet it's such a mediocre movie.
Yeah. It feels like I'm usually only hesitant of star-studded casts like this in one genre, and that's animation.
Yeah.
When an animation comes out with a cast list like this, I'm like, nope, not going to see that one. And I got that vibe from this, which usually doesn't happen in live action, but they're animated. So they had the same attitude towards signing on to this film.
Yeah.
So this is essentially just an animated star-studded cast.
Yeah.
Which is fine. The kids in the audience loved it.
No,
It did its job.
The when I went and saw it, I was surrounded by families watching it, and the kids
They
were
were having a
digging it the
blast.
entire time.
Yep.
Every poop joke, there was
It
giggles.
was the best.
Like, it was
Every
great.
poop joke landed solid.
But, God, like, there was some heavy moments
There were.
that were
It was a
completely
weird mix.
end capped by fart jokes. Or, like, inappropriate dating jokes from the Dragonfly. Where you're just
Jason
like,
Mantzoukas was also delightful in this.
He was-
He just played Jason Mantzoukas as a dragonfly.
the whole mob ants, I loved that.
Yeah, that
was
was
a
pretty fun.
great little thing. He's like, you come to me and bribe me on the day of my daughter's wedding? Wait, which daughter?
I think, God, here's the thing. I would rather have seen a sentimental, sweet Doolittle same cast, same design, half of the same script, half of a different script. But I think this could have also been really successful as the poop humor Doolittle.
Yeah.
I think it could have been a really great, silly. But I just feel like they either needed to remove a lot of poop jokes or they needed to tone down a lot of the heavy-hitting moments they tried to achieve.
Right.
Because they just did not work in the same space together.
Yeah. Well, on that, it almost felt like Doolittle's character was bipolar.
Yes.
Because there were, going off that dual script, there was moments where he was very recluse and awkward and creepy, very like Johnny Depp-ish.
Yep.
And then there were moments where he became like 18th century Tony Stark.
Right.
With
I got a little bit of
a Scottish accent.
I it's funny you should say Johnny Depp-y, because I did get Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, whatever the newest one is called that Johnny Depp was in, where he was like hardcore bipolar.
Yeah.
An eccentric man interacting with children and other species who's jumping back and forth between mania and depression constantly.
Yeah.
This a very similar character.
Yeah, and it was weird because none of the characters reacted to it.
Right.
If the characters reacted to it, then I would have been...
That would have taken it
fine.
down a whole new path towards the sentimental movie.
Yeah.
But if it... I didn't hate this movie. I will never watch it again.
No, yeah.
And I'm not even really sad about how it turned out, if that makes sense. It's just... There's so much more potential for two other versions of it that would have both been better.
Yeah. If I hear in a year down the road that there's a fan edit on YouTube,
I'm definitely going to check
that.
it out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I felt like the entire character of Stubbins, the boy,
Yeah.
was pointless. Like,
yeah,
I don't
they
feel
didn't
like
give him
that
much...
character brought anything to the table. And
he was
growth,
just there to help Doolittle's development.
But even in that, Doolittle's growth was... I mean, there was...
Well, in a
there
more
was 2 or 3
sentimental
parts with
version
it.
of the film, he would have become the son figure.
Yeah.
And you could feel it almost getting there, and then it didn't.
Yeah. That I think that's what gets me, is that you could feel it starting, like the scene where
they just shuffled those pages out for fart jokes.
and penis jokes.
And penis
Those
jokes,
penis
yes.
jokes. It was like, why'd she date a scorpion? Is it because his stinger is bigger than mine?
Yeah,
And again, oh my god. Okay, yeah. That was just... It's not about the size of the stinger, it's how you use it. Oh my god. And then that is followed by the reconciliation of the guy who's trying to kill him. Oh, and the whole like depressed, repressed Bengal tiger scene, Ralph Fiennes.
Yep.
Who has like mother issues
Yep.
and is just like completely psychotic. That I didn't know how to take that, because
Nope.
there was a couple times where I laughed, and then there was a couple times where I was like,
Maybe I
oh
shouldn't
god,
be laughing.
like,
Yeah.
this is really sad.
Yeah.
Like that whole, and then freaking Bengal tiger gets choked out.
Yep.
I don't even know how to feel about that whole entire scene.
Yep. I don't know what version that one belongs to. I am hesitant to say it was a bad movie, because I didn't feel it was a bad movie, but it definitely wasn't a good movie.
Yeah.
Like, definitely not good. But it wasn't, like, classically bad.
Yeah. There was a moment, though, where it was when you're first introduced to the main antagonist.